Today, for example, more than 20 years after George H.W. Bush left office, only about 25% of his White House's papers are available to the public. The rest either have not gone through the glacially slow process of clearance by an understaffed archives administration, or have been retained in secret for reasons such as national security or personal privacy. The dilatory pace of this release deprives those who rely on documents alone as the bread of their existence. Conversely, oral histories provide original evidence about recent presidents while we wait out the protracted interval for the official papers to be opened. If it were necessary to suspend our consideration of Clinton's presidency until half or more of his records become available, we would have to delay any work until close to 2050. Second, much that is historically important within every White House is never written down, meaning that the written documents, even when they are opened, will have significant deficiencies. To some extent, this is a function of the pace and culture of the modern presidency, where so much key interaction takes place by word of mouth. Arthur M. Schlesinger, Jr. recognized this problem as early as 1967, when, in an essay for The Atlantic, he bemoaned what use of the telephone was doing to the presidential paper trails that historians had always relied on, and he praised oral history as an invaluable corrective. By the time Bill Clinton came to the White House a quarter century later, however, the paper trail problem was catastrophically worse. The hostile investigative climate in Washington that began with the Vietnam War and Watergate and was exacerbated by incriminating email traffic during the Iran-Contra affair of the Reagan years made careful record-keeping in the White House a dangerous habit. The twin perils of leaks and subpoenas chilled virtually every form of serious internal writing by presidents and their aides, as Clinton's associates confirmed over and over. National Security Advisor Sandy Berger explained, "I did not keep notes, nor did most of my colleagues. You recall that in the early days of the Clinton administration, there was a flap about whether Deputy Treasury Secretary Roger Altman had tipped off the White House about something involving Resolution Trust. I don't even remember what the episode was, but Josh Steiner, who was a young, 20-ish, 30-ish at most, staffer at the Treasury Department, had a diary, and that diary got subpoenaed. Young Mr. Steiner spent tens of thousands of dollars defending himself with respect to things that were in his diary. I think one of the unfortunate consequences of what has been described as the politics of personal destruction, which has crept into Washington to a large degree, is that you don't write things down. You don't take notes." Press Secretary Joe Lockhart agreed. "I can tell you this, one challenge for historians on this president is, for instance, if they ever want to find a piece of paper I generated, don't bother looking. They don't exist. I didn't keep them. I didn't have a bank account that could support the legal fees that keeping paper would have required. My commitment to history is stronger than you might think, but it was not that strong." And Deputy National Security Advisor James Steinberg told his interviewer, "I have literally no notes from my 7+ years in government. I took no notes because every time anybody took notes, they ended up being subpoenaed. It wasn't worth it. It's a huge loss. But we understood the Federal Records Act rules. I could make contemporaneous notes if I threw them away at the end of the day. And I did. They were not federal records. Nothing was saved. There's literally nothing left behind, and nothing taken away." Under such conditions, memory often remains the only evidence of what happened. But these interviews also provide an opportunity for scholars to probe into areas for which there would normally be little written record under the best of circumstances. On a matter of great delicacy, White House counsel Bernard Nussbaum responded to questions about why he believed the rumors of an extramarital relationship between Hillary Clinton and Deputy Counsel Vince Foster, who committed suicide in 1993, were unfounded. The president's personal secretary, Betty Currie, spoke about her painful experience appearing before a federal grand jury in the Monica Lewinsky case, and repeated for history her assertions about her conversations with the president as the scandal was breaking in 1998. Several insiders on the Clinton economic team challenged Bob Woodward's account of the 1993 economic package, which held that the Clinton administration had forged a deal with Alan Greenspan, chairman of the Federal Reserve, for interest rate cuts in exchange for